I've actually never played a game that's as easy on offense than CFB 26. So if you clicked on this video, you're in desperate need of help. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down 5 tips that will absolutely transform your offense here in College Football 26. I just showed them to this player, and so long as you actually implement them, you're gonna have the same exact results. Let's jump right into it. The first thing any great offense needs is a one-play touchdown to take the top off the defense. Let me show you the best one right now from the Oregon State playbook. All right, and so really this play is fantastic against cover 3 defenses, which we understand are some of the most common defenses in the game. Now, as we know, a lot of the time people are going to show you this single high safety look, right? Or some people will, some people won't, but it really doesn't matter whether they want to show you that look or not, because it's just going to work regardless. You have to, that's why it's important to read coverage a little bit, but also just trust that this play can beat every defense in the game. And then when you snap the ball, if you recognize they're in cover 3, that's when you kind of let this one rip. But you always want to be on the short side with this play. You're going to put your running back on a streak. You're going to put your X receiver on a drag just in case you get shedded. Now, I'm going to spy off the pass rush because it's my YouTube video and I want to show you this bomb. But if I were to get shedded, right, or if I were playing a game, my drag would be certainly a read that I'd be looking to hit. So I'm going to take this snap, and you're just going to notice how this fade route is going to get behind that DB for an easy just pass lead over the top touchdown. And it's very important to understand why. This is Fresno State against Oregon State. Honestly, 2 teams of very equal skill levels here. And so it's really the reason why this happens is because of zone logic. This man runs a fantastic route. Shout out to EA for putting this in the game. But essentially, you're going to run like this man's running like he's running directly at the outside third, but then he bends the route off back inside. And so obviously an outside third is not going to follow this man all the way across the field. But you see how this inside third never even realized that this was going to be a problem route that he needed to guard. And so really when you combine that with a halfback streak, that's why it's important to have other routes on the field as well in case, you know, they happen to run a different coverage than what you were expecting. But again, cover 3 defense, you're going to see how this time they're showing us too high. And so this time I'm going to have a pass rush. I have time to throw, step up in the pocket. And so then I'm just going to let it go over the top for an easy, you know, one-play touchdown. So it's all about just recognizing it. You can see it doesn't matter if I leave the pass rush, if I don't, right? Hit your drag if you get shedded. But if you feel like you have time to throw, which I felt like I did. I felt like my blockers were holding up here. They create a beautiful pocket for me to just step up into. Look at this. This man gets shedded right here, but because I'm stepping up in the pocket with the left stick into the lane, I just make it very easy for, you know, me to be able to throw that pass down the field. Now, you can also see, I'm going to put them in a different coverage here, and we're going to have someone else open because right here they're going to run cover 2, but obviously against cover 2 it's not going to be as easy to throw your fade, but then you're just going to look for your drag route, right? And so I threw it a little bit late right there, honestly looking for the fade a little bit over the top again. But just note they run cover 2, right? It's not, this is a cover 3 beater, right? But you can have your crosser open if they have hard flats on the field. You can also just throw that drag underneath. And again, if they run man coverage, look for your crosser, look for your drag. 2 great options. But that's a great one-play touchdown here from wide-off trips from the Oregon State offense that you really need to start taking advantage of right now. All right, being able to take the top off the defense with one-play touchdowns is great. But if you're not using the best offensive settings, your passes are going to be inaccurate and your offensive line isn't going to be able to block for you. Let me show you the best offensive settings to use right now. All right, so if we come into nickel single mug on defense, right, and we call the Texas 4-man custom stunt, we spread our defensive line pass commit, right? We do the whole thing. And we use base protection right here, which is what we're going to be in. You're going to notice how, I mean, this stunt, look at that. Like, base protection is exactly what I tell you guys to use all the time, but you need to understand that honestly against custom stunts, especially this 4-man stunt, you can't use base protection. It just won't work. They'll just come free. I mean, you see 2 guys come free. Honestly, sometimes all 4 guys come in free. I've seen when you use base protection. Base protection is one of the worst protections that you can use against 4-man stunts in this game, or even 3-man stunts. You should only be using base protection when they're not using stunts at all, or maybe even if they're using 2-man stunts. I've seen 2-man stunts come in against base protection. So what you need to understand is if they're going to, you know, call a stunt or any defense, that's when empty protection becomes very valuable, right? So you're going to come into your coaching adjustments by pressing the right stick. You're going to scroll down until you see auto base protection, and you're going to make sure this is on empty. This is something that not enough people know about when you're playing against those, you know, a lot of those 4-man stunts. So you're going to see this is what empty protection is going to look like right here. So you can block your running back, or you don't have to. There's other ways to block custom stunts, but empty protection is one of the best ways, because now what you're going to see is it's going to, or my running back really should have blocked that guy. We're going to be able to block the stunt right off the rip. But then, you know, that's why I always say blocking your running back, because you never know. Sometimes this stunt won't come in. Sometimes it will, like right there. But that's why it's important to block your running back. You see how right here, empty protection does a great job. I'm able to step up in the pocket and slide down with my quarterback. So it's like, and then you saw the 3 times that I caught it with base protection, it came in free every time. So you probably just want to ID this defensive end right here as the Mike. You see these guys do a great job. But honestly, my running back, again, just doesn't do a great job of stepping up right there. So it's kind of, I mean, that's the frustrating part about custom stunts in this game, right? But if you're playing, so if you're playing against this stunt, and if, for example, the Texas 4-man, really what you should be doing is you're going to use empty protection. But if you get shedded, or if they come in free, like right here, I have a clean pocket. I could have just stayed in the pocket right there. But you're going to be able to roll out every single time against these stunts, right? So again, boom, take it. You can just roll out like there's no contain. So that's something else that you should be doing against those. But if you want pass protection to kind of stay in the pocket a little bit, that's really when you should just be using empty protection right here, because you're just going to see how they're consistently giving us time to throw now. And so we're just going to be able to hit those passes in the middle of the field while standing tall in the pocket. But also, what you need to make sure that you have turned on a setting here is, if we come into our game options, we're going to come to our passing mechanics, passing type. Make sure you have placement and accuracy turned on. All right, this is what we call freeform passing, with your reticle speed in between 5 and 20, because this is going to allow you to get these passes out in front of these receivers. You're going to see how that time he had to kind of turn his body right there. That's because I didn't use freeform passing, all right? And how you're going to use freeform passing is you're going to hold left trigger, right? So you're going to take this snap, and you're going to hold left trigger to get that ball you see right there out in front of the receiver, because this tight end, for example, has a very great juke move. And so if you can just get him to catch the ball in stride and then make a great move after the catch, it's going to be super, super dangerous. So again, right here, ball's out in front of him. His juke move's amazing. And so we're able to, you know, pick up a lot more yards versus if he has to like turn his body, contort, slow him down. So making sure you're using the correct pass protection setting, whether it be base against standard rushes, whether it be empty against a lot of these 4-man or 2-man stunts, but then making sure you have the right passing settings equipped so your passes are accurate and out in front of the receivers by using freeform passing. All right, if you enjoyed those first 2 tips to transform your offense here in CFB 26, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I break down tips and tricks just like this every single day on CFB 26, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of them. But if you want my free guide to dominate on offense here in College Football 26, make sure you go down below and comment the word free. I'll send you the guide to dominate on offense, obviously, here in College Football 26. But let's jump right back into the video. All right, probably the tip that everyone wants to know: how do you speed boost here in CFB 26 BLT? I'm struggling to do it. People have given me bad advice. Let me show you the best way to do it right now. All right, so if I come into gun bunch a strong offset, I go with this play called duo, okay? This is really one of the best plays here in this game, simply because, you know, it's really easy to speed boost out of, right? And so, I mean, you can do or you can call a lot. There's a lot of different duo runs, but you're seeing how on some of these runs, I'm essentially getting like a boost in speed right now. If you time the move incorrectly, it can actually slow you down as well. But really the best way to get better with this is just speed boost right out of the handoff, right? And so and you see that's a great boost. That's another great one. And essentially, I'm going to put the defense on the field here in a second, but you're essentially going to be able to dumb out these pursuit angles. All right, and so really all you have to do to speed boost is you're already going to be holding turbo to run. Once you pass the line of scrimmage is when you want to hold turbo, but you're already holding left stick to run in whatever direction you want to run, and then you're going to make sure that you're tapping L1, or excuse me, you're tapping L2 or LT on Xbox, right? So again, boom, take it, boost out of the handoff, get another boost right there. That's a great boost. And so essentially, I mean, like I said, when you're able to speed boost out of these handoffs, it's going to be a lot better for you. Your run offense is going to be a lot better. Now, something that I do want to point out here is if we come into coaching, we come into our depth chart, you have to make sure you have the right players that can actually speed boost, all right? So if we come into our halfback right here, you see he has 90 speed, he has 90 agility, 90 acceleration, he has 90 change, or excuse me, he has 88 change of direction. He also has 360 in sidestep, so he's a super elusive player. right? And that's really the best thing that you can get here, because if he doesn't have the right ratings, his speed boost, he's not going to be boosting anywhere. You're just able to see this guy's able to go from side to side, able to get these boosts. Now, you can't just constantly be boosting all over the field. Eventually, these guys, they do run out of stamina, and so some of the boosts are going to be weaker, but you're able to see right there, that's a great boost out of the handoff. That's another one. That's another great boost. And so again, you're just basically gliding all over the field. As you keep running, you kind of slow down a little bit. The boost might not be as powerful, but if you're able to do it right out of the handoff, that's really powerful. So again, boost right out of the handoff, spin because he has the spin ability, boost right out of that, boost again. It's like, this is just a super dangerous move. And eventually when you get out in the open, in the clear, you don't need to speed boost anymore, but make sure you have the right ratings with your player. And then again, right trigger, left stick to be able to run the ball. And let me show you it against a live defense. All right, so the thing that's most important when you're playing against a live defense is actually picking the right lane to run, right? When you're obviously in offense only practice mode, you can go wherever, but here there's real defenders on the field, and so you actually have to chain up the moves, and you're able to see that's a great example of the speed boost. I'm able to just on the first play here get to the second level and rip off a big run simply because I speed boost out of the handoff and then I pick my gap and follow my blocks for a huge gain. So again, boom, take it, hand the ball off, speed boost to get to that lane, right? Instead of just running there, normally I speed boost to get there, and then I'm just able to speed boost again right here, speed boost for the third time, get away from number 3, and rip off a big gain. So right here, again, this lane's gonna be open. That time I don't speed boost, but when you have the 360 ability on your halfback or any type of spin ability, it makes it a lot easier. Right here, I see that lane's open, and it makes it a lot easier for me to get to those gaps when I'm able to just speed boost right off the handoff. So again, right here, I want to speed boost to this gap, and instead of just running there, just normally holding turbo, I'm just able to get that jolt and speed, and it makes it a lot easier. So sometimes you're going to be able to, this is an example where you don't even need to speed boost. You can just run straight forward. But if you're going to be running in towards the left or to the right side, I would always recommend speed boosting. Right there, I did it twice. You're going to be able to dumb out the pursuit angles of some of these safeties when you're speed boosting. That time I just kind of picked a bad gap. And so again, it can slow you down, or you can just be running into players that you're not supposed to. But right there, tried to boost and then spin, but didn't end up working out. Right here, I'm just gonna pick this gap, and then I speed. That's a great example of the double speed boost, because I speed boosted again to get away from Hamilton right there by again just tapping the left trigger again. You see right here where I'm running right at this guy, but then at the last second I just boost, cut it up, and so I make him miss. Now obviously there's another defender there to tackle me, but it's like when you're able to just speed boost right out of the handoff and then speed boost again to dumb out some of these guys' pursuit angles at the second level of the defense, the speed boost becomes super powerful. So that's what makes it so overpowered, the ratings that you need for it, and how you actually utilize speed boost here in CFB 26. All right, so again, if you enjoyed that speed boost breakdown or the other 2 tips that I've talked about so far in this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm the only YouTuber who's gonna post daily tips and tricks here for College Football 26 to help you guys get better, and you're absolutely not gonna miss out on all of the content I have so far. But let's jump to the final 2 tips that you're absolutely not gonna wanna miss. And this next tip is probably the most important tip for you when you're passing the ball. You need to be able to master and get good with pocket presence if you want to have any chance of passing the ball at a high level in this game. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm gonna call one of my favorite plays here in this game wide trail from Bunch Strong Nasty, right? And the reason why I wanna call this play is I wanna show you guys that it's like pocket presence is so important. So if I were to take this snap, right? This is just a random defense. I step up in the pocket. You see how that's a very tight window throw. There's 2 guys right there, but I'm able to fit that pass in that window because I'm using freeform passing like I showed you earlier. But this is the most important thing. My pocket presence is exquisite right here. I take the snap, cancel my drop back, and now I'm stepping up in the pocket to let one go over the middle of the field. Boom, just like this. So it's really just a huge trick, because you're going to see right here, if I were to take this snap, drift all the way back in the pocket, probably what you guys are doing, and then let that pass go, and it just gets knocked away because the ball's in the air for way too long. And honestly, right there, I'm not even sure how that was a green pass. When you drop like 10 or 15 yards back in the pocket in this game, these passes they just get sailed, and obviously you see it's intercepted. That safety should never be able to play that pass, but the only reason he's able to is because I'm just drifting too far back in the pocket, which is what I see a lot of you guys do. Where, I mean, sometimes it's this bad and then sometimes it's a little bit better for you guys, but it's like you're just drifting way too far back and then you just let one go, which is just not at all really what you're trying to do. So we're gonna take this snap right here. Boom, you're gonna like right here they're blitzing us, and so honestly sometimes you have to buy yourself time to throw, right? And again, that time I take a sack, but it's like this is taking a 2-yard sack is way better than doing this. Way better than taking a huge sack. Right? I mean, I have X wide open, but I'm never stopping my drawback. And then you guys try to roll out and you wonder why you're just throwing passes or at the feet of your receivers. You have to take the snap and flick the left stick up or L3 on PlayStation to cancel your dropback. So cancel my dropback, and now all my reads, they just become wide open. Now I'm actually able to hit my passes on time. When I talk about the 1, 2, 3 read progression for you guys, it's like it's very much predicated on throwing the ball in time to your receivers, and the only way for you to be able to do that is by canceling your dropback. Take the snap, cancel your dropback, step up in the pocket, and now I'm able to find that pass in the middle of the field because I'm able to, and you also move defenders when you're able to have good pocket presence. So that's why I say this is the most important tip on offense, because it will just make your passing offense so much easier. You see the great pocket my offensive line creates for me, stand in it, and then just let go of the ball. It's very, very simple, but it's one of the most important things that no one teaches and everyone seems to miss out on, right? So again, take the snap, flick the left stick up, cancel your dropback. You see right here, I get blitz, so I understand I need to get rid of the ball, but I'm able to get rid of the ball faster and on time, and at the right time, get the ball out in stride of the receiver, simply because I'm canceling my dropback, maintaining good pocket presence, moving around the pocket if I need to, and not taking those horrible sacks by drifting too far back. All right, having great pocket presence is cool, but if you're not actually able to find receivers open in space, none of it's gonna matter. Let me show you exactly how to go through read progressions and hit passes on time. All right, so here's the problem that I see with so many of you guys, right? It's that you guys don't understand how zone coverage actually works and how you can manipulate zones to create really great route concepts. So right here, we're going to just go ahead and put them in cover 4 quarters, all right? Or excuse me, cover 4 drop. Now they have hard flats on the field. What you need to understand is that you have to be able to move these defenders outside, flat zone defenders, right? And so you're able to see these 2 hard flats. So like, right, if I were to put my RB receiver on a curl route, right? And so I'm just gonna put him on a curl. This is gonna be my route concept. What you're gonna notice is this hard flat defender, how he was kind of just standing there. Now, granted, I threw it as soon as he ran outside, so maybe that wasn't the greatest example, but just take a look at this. If I were to do this instead, where I have a curl route on the field, he's gonna be in the same kind of hard flat assignment right there, right? Boom. But this time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a flat route to my running back. And so essentially that's gonna move that man outside and make it to where you see how much more wide open he is, right? And so obviously you can speed boost once you get out in the open field, another tip that we talked about earlier. But it's like, if we look at the instant replay, as soon as I snap this ball, this guy's moving outside because there's a guy attacking out to the flat, right? Versus if you were to, let's just say, for example, another example would be if I put a return route in the field. If I were to put a return route on the field, a route concept like this, but I don't have a flat. So again, they're going to be in the same defense here where they're going to have that, hard flat. What you're going to notice is this hard flat is playing a little bit more inside. You see how he's number 5. He's playing a bit more inside. Do we still complete the pass? Yes, because it's a hard route to defend, but it would be even more open if I were to leave my running back on a flat route, right? So again, set it up the same way. He has a hard flat on the field. Take the snap. you notice how it's wide open now. I'm able to actually turn that into a big gain down the field simply because I have a man running up to the flat to occupy that flat zone, and then I run my route right behind him. So you guys need to understand that flat routes, they move flat zones outside, and then that's when you can kind of run guys right behind their head and pick up big gains. This is very important when you're trying to create route concepts. Going through read progressions is, okay, I'm going to move this zone, this defender outside, and then I'm gonna throw a man right behind his head, right? And so another example of when zone logic and understanding is very important is when we're playing against, cover 3 defense, for example, right? Or any zone defense, you're always going to need runoff routes, right? You're always going to need streaks on the field or some sort of deep routes to occupy deep zones. For example, if I were to call a route concept like this and I'm looking for my corner route, you're going to see how this outside third is literally just going to sit on the route. And I mean, that's just a terrible animation by EA, but he's right there to break up that pass. Versus we're going to call the same defense and we're going to call the same exact play right here. Right, and so if I can find a cover 3, right? All right, so we're going to put them in cover 3, but this time I'm going to have a streak on the field. And so this streak route is going to run off this outside third defender, and it's going to make it very easy for me to just throw that pass where now that's wide open possession catch, and instead of having to go up over him and make a big time play. So it really just comes down to understanding, zone logic, understanding that if you put a streak on the field, especially in the short side, you're going to be able to affect this deep zone, push him up the field, and then you just be able to throw a corner out. So it's really the difference between the corner out being wide open like right there, or it being a contested catch where you have to kind of rely on EA's terrible game to be able to allow you to catch that pass. You really need to make sure that you're, using zone logic here and understanding it so you can better take advantage of it, because it'll make your read progression so much easier, right? Having flat routes to move flat zone defenders outside, and then having streaks to push deep zone defenders up the field and create easy openings for corners, crossers, posts, anything that's running underneath of them. All right, if you found any of those 5 offensive tricks helpful, or they're going to help you dominate an offense in your next game, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one that's going to break down tips and tricks on offense to help you guys get better every single day. You're in College Football 26, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of the content I ever have to drop. But if you want a free guide to dominate an offense with even more tips, situational stuff, money plays to help you out, go down below and comment the word free in the comment section. I'll send it right over to you. And if you want to transform your defense as well, check out this video where I break down 5 tips to help you play lockdown defense here in CFB 26. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.